So this actually I'm going to share with you one view. Actually, this one database that I created for this purpose only. The name of the database is projects. Here, the name of the database is projects. Here's the name here. Here's the one. This is the name of the database. And inside of this, we have some tables. In this example, we'll deal with this jadwal here, with this messaging table. The structure of this jadwal is as follows. We have a primary key, which is the ID. Then after we have actually, since it's talking about sender messages, the sender and the receiver, the message itself, and when the time of the sender of the message. Mainly, these actually one database table that we can use to create a chat application like the request is asking us. So we have, as per the request, we need actually to create a chatting application. So briefly, without actually making the thing long, the minimum requirement is a chat application. We given here the name messaging that have the ID, that would have actually indicate the ID of the message being sent, the send of the message, the receive of the message, and then after the message itself. And all of this actually it has to be done in a time, in a given time. Good. So this is a view of a table inside a database that we have to deal with to create our web application, our web chat application. Let's come back to our actually our server where we have to create our web applications. You will use the notepad. Actually, I'm going to use the server directly. Immediately, I'm going to create one new file that I'm going to create through which the send a message and things like that. So to do so, actually, just I'm going to explain something for you first of all. I'm going to create a new file. I'm going to give it here. I'm going to say chatting, for example. But let's say chat application. And I'm going to give it the name first of all, my ID. Then chat application. It's a PHP. I'm going to search for it. This is the one. It is. So I'm going to start my file, and you'll be in your computer. You'll be using the notepad, and you'll upload your work to our server, our shared server here, where we are going to test. So you continue your work here. I'm dealing with the same thing here, but in directly from the server. So it's the same process. To do so, actually, we have to know that we are going to send a message. We are going to help a user to send a message, and we're going to make actually send the message, and this same message has to be actually received. It has to be received. Then actually we have to talk about a database where to store the message. To do so, we have to the table, as we said, actually the name of the table, as per the example we were seeing here, is message, and I given it to you because actually I'm giving it to you ready to avoid wasting time and making you creating this thing. Actually, we would have the thing ready to gain time, no more or less. So the name of the table in this example here is messaging. The name of the database in this example here is projects. Let's dig in. What should we do? We have to define the database name, projects. In our example, here actually is the DB name. The table, let's say name also, messaging. So like that. Okay, good. We have to connect to the database projects, then to the table messaging to be able to store the message that has been sent or to retrieve the message to be received. Actually, you have to identify yourself. Who are you, first of all? The user of the database with a password. So something like that. So the syntax how to connect to this database or to this table is as follows. I have to define the thing actually in the way that the PHP can deal with the MySQL database. What does it mean? It means actually we have to give the syntax how the PHP has to define that. So I'm going to define a PHP block. Inside of it, I'm going to just define the connection, MySQL I _ query. This command here. It is a PHP function that sends MySQL queries. What is it? I'm going to send a connection to the server. Wait, let me just write it again. To the server, passla. To the DB, passla. The user, and also with a password. So I have to give those data here in order to succeed in doing this. In order to succeed in given this this connection, unless not given, but actually to do this connection and to finalize this connection, we have to succeed in writing the correct syntax, no more or less. If we fail, we would be actually given an error. It will not be successful. We will not be able to connect, neither to insert nor to retrieve. So I repeat here, just to make the thing actually more coherent. Let me just come back to share with you the server, the view. Actually, you are seeing my database only here in your. I'm sorry, I was expecting that you are seeing my script. Here it is. So we have to give, actually, this is the MySQL query that the PHP will use to send the query to connect. To whom? To the server. Inside the server, we have the database. Actually, we will use the user who will, first of all, who will be requested to connect. And after the password and the connection to a specific database. A specific database. And the server using username and password and a specific database. Simple, like that. If we succeed in passing a correct structure, so that's it. So here the server, I'm going to give it to you actually ready for our server is the following. The server is, I'm giving you the one to utilize this, the live one. So just I'm going to use my live server. So later on, I'm going to give it to you just ready for your usage. What it concerns the database, its projects. The database is, the user is the same as the database name. I'm going to write it in between two double quotation projects. The password, I'm going to give the password actually as per the password I need, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Actually, the password I want. And the database name is the same here, projects. This is the database. This is the database name. So I'm writing it here in between double quotations, no more, no less. Semicolon. And I'm going to store this request in a variable. I'm going to say dollar connection equal this query here. So the result of this query, it would be a Boolean value. If successful, we will write actually connected to the database. Else, echo not connected to the database. Here, if this variable here is validated equal true. So if the returned value stored in this variable here is true, so connected. Otherwise, no. Let's check that. I'm going to save my work. I'm going to delete this thing. We do not need. So only we need this connection now. Let's save, and I'm going to test. He's saying not connected to the database. Let me just check what is the error. Let me check what's the problem here. not connect to the database. Let me check. The name actually is, I have to respect double N. The same spelling means just the same spelling. Refresh. Yes, connected to the database. So we have it clearly here, connected to the database. The output, the database spelling here. Okay, connected to the database. Correct. Okay, good. Let me fix it. Database. Save. Yes, database. خلاص, connected. We are connected. That's good. We did it. The connection, we did it now. So I'm going to send you later on the script here. So let me just share here. Database. Connect to the database. Here, this is the one. Yeah, so it works very fine here. It works very fine. So, and this at this level here, at this level only, we will go on. So let me just go on by trying to insert data. This table here. Now, since we are connected to the database and also connected to the jadwal, absolutely, since we are connected to the database, we can do whatever we want inside this jadwal. First of all, let's try to list the content of the jadwal, and later on we will deal with creating this application. So I'm going to pass a query to select everything. See here, when I click actually browse here, the jadwal, it will execute this query. Select star from the jadwal name here. It will list all the data here inside. Good. Let's do that. Let's execute this query here, but from the SQL only. The same way, I'm going to pass a query here. I'm going to say I have a query equals MySQLi query. As usual, this is a variable that would receive the result of this query. The query is what? The query is, it has two parameters. The parameter number one is the connection variable. I'm going to copy this connection variable, put it here, comma, and the query I want, in between double quotations, the query I want, what is it? Is the query we were seeing here. This is the query here. I'm going to copy it and paste it here. Select start from the jadwal name. Good. I'm going to save. Let me test. Connected to the database, absolutely. So here, let me just refresh it again. Yeah, here it is. Connected to the database, and nothing there, no more data. Why? Because the selection will require us. Let me come back here. We require us not only to execute the query, but to display the result. The result has been stored here. What is the result? The result is the long list of this, the content of this jadwal. Record number 1, record number 2, record number 3, and so on. All the records, one by one. They are going to be retrieved and displayed one by one. So we retrieve the data, and let's display them now. How to? Let's do that. Let's dig in. So I'm going to use this variable to display all the data. So since we have a table, I'm going to use the while loop. Actually, we'll store the result of the jadwal, which is the query content, using the function MySQLi fetch array. I'm going to use, it's a method, MySQL fetch array, that I'm going to pass as a parameter the name of the variable that has the result of the select. Here it is. I'm going to paste it, and it will be stored in a new variable, user defined. And in here, I'm going to start a curly brace and terminate it. So in between requests, start and close. I'm going to write, for example, echo dollar limit. What is this limit? It's the same variable here. This same variable. I'm writing it here. Semicolon. Let's see. Will it finish writing the thing? Actually, will it display the thing or not? So let's see here. Let me just refresh first of all. I have one warning. He's saying MySQL expects parameter 1 to be MySQL null given. There is a problem in the MySQL query. In which line? In which line? Line number 13. Let's check that. Let's check that here. MySQL query is saying. This is the one. Let me just refresh that again. Yeah, here it is actually. The name of the array. Whatever. He's saying just array. What is that? This is the name of, this is actually the database connected. Yes, absolutely. Yet the records, he's not bringing the data. He's just saying this is an array, this is an array, this is an array, this is an array, and that's it. To display every value, record by record, we have to reference each field by a number. The field number 1 is indexed with 0. Field number 2 is indexed with 1. Field number 3 indexed by 2. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Those are the indexes of the fields. To display the ID, for example, ID number 1, then 4, then 5, then those values. I have to display the field number 0. How to? Let me just come back here. So we will not write limit and that's it. No, we will use the square parenthesis and display position 0. Position 0 means the index 0. Let me save and let's test. Let me change the page. Refresh. Here it is. 1, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. If we come back to the database, they are the same values. 1, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. They are exactly the same values, written actually in just one line. Let's just write them in just different lines. Let's come back here. Different lines means I'm going to write a new line after the write. He writes concatenate BR. So I concatenate it with a dot. Then the BR is HTML. Just save. Let's refresh and let's come back here. Just one refresh here. Don't know why it's taking time. And just you are not seeing my interface. Here it is. Let me refresh. Yes, here it is. So 1, then 4, then 5, then 6, then 7, one by one, line by line. So it works very fine. The same way, let's display the messages now. We don't want to display the ID. We want to display the message itself. Message index is what? 0, 1, 2, 3. So I want to display the message. It's the position 3. Let me come back here. Let me edit. Position 3. So instead of 0 is 3. Let me save. Let me refresh. Let me come back to the interface first of all. Yes, refresh first. Your sweet computer has been hacked. Okay, whatever. There are messages here actually that we have to take care of. I'm going to delete everything from this database first of all. Let me just drop everything. Let me empty this jadwal first. I'm going to empty everything. I'm going to insert one record only. ID, let it be empty. I'm going to say sender. I'm going to say Murad. Receiver, I'm going to say Khalid. Message, I'm going to say hello. How are you? How are you? Okay, that's I'm going to save. Time, I'm going to type here actually is the Unix time. Right, go. Okay, has been inserted, successful. Okay, let me refresh now. Let me refresh now here. Connect to the database. Hello, how are you? So it displays, I think, everything. It displays very well. Let me write a new message. I want to say here, Khalid to Murad now. Khalid and to Murad. I want to say here, I'm fine. Okay, that's it. I'm fine, he's saying. So time, let me just write something here. Now we have two messages. The hello, how are you? Then after, I'm fine. Let me refresh. Yes, hello, how are you? He's saying, I'm fine. New line. So it works very fine. Let me hide this connected to the database. Let's hide it. Let's hide this database connection. Let's hide it. To hide it, let me come back here. So we do not want actually this test. So خلاص, it works very fine here. I'm gonna make it a command here. See, double command here. Before I open a command and I close it after here. So multi-line command starts here, closes here, before the if and after the else. So let's just save and check. We don't want actually this message to bother us. Refresh. Yes, that's it. That's it now. Hello, how are you? I'm fine. Message number one, message number two. So that's good. So now we have our connection plus we inserted and then after we retrieved. We inserted data actually using the database only, but here we retrieved only. We retrieved only. So that's good. So far that's good. Let's create a small text box via which we can pass and insert data, not from the database here. I use the database here to insert. I used here this insert button to insert data. No, let's create a form like this one in here to use to actually connect to the database. Sorry, to insert data to the database. Let's do that. I'm going to come back here. After the PHP, I'm going to create actually an HTML form. I'm going to actually give it an action that would be the same interface, the same page. The method, let it be post. Okay, I'm going to close the form now. In between here, I have actually an input type, let's say text, name, let's say message, placeholder equal, type your message here. I'm going to just give it any message to explain what I'm doing here. Type your message, something like that. So it's just something to be displayed instead of an empty blank. Okay, and the submit button only. It's again an input. Type submit. Here I'm going to give type submit. The name here I'm going to give it, for example, here save or send message. Value send also. Value equal send. The name I'm going to give it here save. The name save. And the value send. This is what we will see in the button. This is what the system will use. Let's save and let's see. Let's just go in here. You will see actually my interface from the beginning. You did not see my script. Just let me refresh only. Yeah, here it is. Type your message. See, this is the placeholder content, and this is the send, the value of the input. Give me a second, please. Just I come back. Okay, now the connection to the database has been succeeded. The interface is being generated. Let me come back to the code now. Let me come back to the code here. Yeah, here. When we write something in this text box and we click the button, it has to be stored inside the database. And so our database, what is it? The project database. Inside the jadwal مساجن. This is the jadwal مساجن. So let's just do so. Let's do so. The same thing here. If we click the button, we insert. So I'm going to create a new inside the HTML, sorry, inside the PHP only. I'm going to create a new query. I want to say query 2 equal, again, MySQLi query. And it has this two parameters, the same first variable, the same parameter, the connection string. And then after this, the query. What is the query? Here, when I come back here, the database, when I click save, when I write, for example, from Ali to, let's say, Fatma, and here I'm going to say, hello. Hello. The time, whatever, it's a Unix time, that's okay. What happens? The query will be executed. This is the query. Insert into the jadwal with the fields, the values. This is the query. I'm going to copy it. You have to know it, actually. I'm copying it, but you have to know it. I'm just explaining why we have to use this specific query. It's an insert query. You know it from the theory is the same. You have to know what is this query in details. But I'm just telling why we use this query, not the other. So in the ID, we keep the field empty, null. For the sender, I'm going to say actually here any name we want. For the receiver, what is it? For the receiver, any name also. And the message, it is this text here. So I'm going to delete this hello. I'm going to add two double quotations. In between the two double quotations, dot, dot. In between the dot, dot, the name of the input button, which is this message. But this message is using the post method. I'm going to send it here using the post method. So $_ post message, and that's it, single quotation. So I have to expect the use of the post method here, no more, no less. And the time, let it be actually like it is. I'm going to just replace the time with the Unix time. Two double quotation, two dots. I'm going to say time function, PHP time function. See, I use the PHP time function here. I'm going to save. Saved. Let's just refresh now and let's see our interface. We need actually to create another query with this one. So far, no, nothing. It will work very fine, for sure. Let me just write here, hello new message, hello new message, hello new message. I'm going to send. He said hello. I'm going to write, let me just actually refresh again only. Hello new message. Hello new message. Actually, why it did not display from the beginning? Let me come back. Let me come back here. Because the insert is after the select. I'm going to change the order. See, I'm going to do a cut, right click, cut and paste it before the select here. And now the order of this, the insert is before. Let me save only. Let me come back there and let's refresh. Nothing happened now. Let me just write, for example, hi again from Oman. From Oman. New message. Let me send immediately. Hi again from Oman. I'm going to say hi from USA. And immediately it appears now. Khalas. Now it works very fine. Hi everybody. Hello everybody. I'm going to say hello everybody. Sorry. Hello everybody. That's great. Hello everybody. Our application works very fine now. It works very fine. We may create actually a table to make the thing actually look like the WhatsApp or something like that. But I'll stop at this level. Let me just show you how to generate something with a frame. Sure. Actually, you are not seeing my interface. This is the message. This is the interface. Actually, I'm sorry. I thought that I'm sharing it. I was sharing. Actually, whatever I wrote, it has been displayed. Again, I'm going to share something here. I'm going to say new application. And here it is. I want to say here chat application. And here it is. It appears immediately. It works very fine. So everything is working very fine. That's good. So that's good. We reached to do something good so far. Just I'm going to add one last thing, which is an HTML control to make the thing look like in a box, like actually a web application, or let's say a chat application or mobile application, something like that. I'm going to add a table, simple. So let me come back. Yes, here. So in my notepad, I'm going to just insert a table before of everything here at the beginning. I'm going to create a table, a new line, tr, new record, new row, and I'm going to close it after the form. Close my td, close my tr, and then after close my table. Yes, I'm going to give the table border an option, which is border equals to 2 pixels, 2 units. Okay, save now. Let's refresh here. Refresh here. Let me just cancel the insert. That's good. So it is not showing anything here. It is showing a dot only. It's showing a dot. I'll check what's the problem first of all. TDTR table. Yes, actually, because I closed the TD here, it's not closing, it's an open TD, sorry. I save. Yes, save. Let me refresh now. Here it is. That's good. So see here, the box here is a table with 2 units size and border. So we may make it actually in center. We may make it in center also. Just let me come back here. Everything to be in centered. So here is simple TD, it's not closing TD. Before of the table, I'm going to just write another HTML tag, which is the center, and I closed after the closing table here. Load center, save. Let me come back. Let's refresh now. Let's check. Yes, here it is. It worked very fine. See, we have actually an application that displays everything in between. I'm going to say here whatever. INFS322LABW15. And here it is. It works very fine. Next class, we have an exam. Yes, here it is. Next class, we have an exam. So it works very fine. Our application is successfully running. So let's just finalize our work. Let's just go beyond that. Let's just go to give you actually the chance for a much more better easy work. Let's use the include function. See the connection here to avoid any errors later on in this connection string here. I'm gonna cut, and I'm gonna include instead of it, include connection.php page. I included connection.php page, and I'm going to create the connection.php page. Let me save. I'll create a new page called connection.php. I'm going to say connection here. Here it is. Open it and paste the script and save. I'll refresh again. Yes, it worked very fine. There is no problem at all. The same result we have, the same result. So means here, let me just share the screen. When I refresh, the same result. Means here, what does it mean? Means when I connected here, this connection here, the connection, everything is available. Actually, I'm going to change the name here to DB Connect. I'm going to give it the name, not connection, but DB Connect. DB Connect. Absolutely, and happened. Everything is working very fine. So here, save. I'm going to save. So this way, actually, we reached the work of the application, this mobile application, this chat application. I'll give you the chance to upload the results to the server right away.